What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly recap of the stocked up trading floor. And as we've been saying, another new week and more new all-time highs, but it also came along with a massive sell-off. On Friday, as we know, there was a lot of issues and tensions that happened between U.S. and China trade. We cover this much more in depth in the main channel video today, so definitely check that out. But yeah, we're definitely in a market environment where fear is increasing very quickly and volatility is heating up quite a bit, which is historically a good thing for trading. But getting right into this week's recap, we'll start off with the high-risk breakouts. I would say it was more of a slower week this week. We could see on the 6th, we had some good action with the VZ and Microsoft as, those plays popped up by like 161% and 146%. And there were a handful of like other good setups as well. Of course, a handful of duds too. So nothing crazy to start the week off. As the week progressed, there was some really good increases in volatility, but nothing to the point where it was just like truly, crazy. The best day of the week was Wednesday, October 8th. Where we can see Dell like really stood out. These options moved up by 650%, so that truly was amazing. AMD had some great action as well with ANET, FIG, NNE, SNOW, and a handful of others. So the 8th was definitely the day of the week, of course, and as always, there were a handful of duds mixed in as well. But on a net basis, there was good volatility and good momentum. This was the best day of the week. From that point, yes, there were a handful of other stocks that moved in a, truly momentum-driven, volatile, asymmetric way, but nothing that truly stood out. On Friday, the market started off strong, but as the day progressed from Trump's Truth Social post is when things really took a turn. Basically, looking at the market right now, again, we are seeing a good increase in volatility from a VIX standpoint, which is historically a very good thing for traders because it makes for bigger market moves. And for anyone who owns options, whether it be calls or puts, it positively affects that because as volatility increases, it affects the vega values of options, which is a key component into the pricing of options, especially ones that have more time to them, let alone just the more emotionally driven, volatile nature of market crashes. So that is good. But again, we talk more about that in the main channel video. Getting into the recap for the pullback section, decent action on Monday. Microsoft, Uber, IREN hit some decent moves. Nothing too crazy, but decent. As always with pullback setups, they will not be as crazy as some breakout setups because the best, strongest breakouts don't pull back. So that is, that's just the nature of the pullback setups. But what comes along with that is they are, slower and smoother, and they tend to be easier to trade than, some volatile breakout setup. Continuing on to Friday the 10th, we could see kind of like a dud in terms of pullback style setups because the market just, tanked lower in the second half of the day. So that's not too surprising. Shifting into the theta recap, we can see 4 out of the 5 setups expired for max profit, which is great to see. If you're someone who has not shorted put options before, definitely consider at least looking into it because shorting put options basically allows you to get paid to potentially buy stocks that you'd otherwise be happy to own at prices you'd be happy to own them at. And this is good not only due to the nature of getting paid to buy, quality stocks at quality prices, but also due to the embedded edge because the options you are selling are theoretically a little bit more expensive than they should be. This is called the volatility risk premium, and that works to the seller's benefit. So definitely consider looking into this. Normally, short put options are something you want to be a little bit patient with during market crashes because as you can see, when the market crashes, of course, stock prices fall, but also volatility increases. And ideally, you want to sell when volatility is, towards that higher end rather than, just like in the beginning accelerating stages. So what's good is that if you're someone who has not shorted put options before, if we do see a market crash, this can open up like some really good opportunities, not only because stock prices are lower, as well as collateral requirements, but also the options you are selling are even more expensive than they should be, which again just works to your benefit. So if you need help with learning how to short options, specifically put options, it is called writing put options, cash secured put options, or short put options. Additionally, as always, if you need any help, feel free to reach out to Tom, Hunter, Mason, or myself in SM chat, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. But yeah, the market is getting pretty crazy and pretty exciting right now. We're also heading into earnings season as well, so it should be a wild next couple of weeks. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend.